stuck in a situation and blame others for your suffering? Do you get triggered very easily? And are you ready to change? Well, if the answer is yes, then you're in a perfect place. Welcome to Chit Chat and Chai with me, Sangeeta. We'll be answering all these questions, and with me, a special guest and a dear friend, Prachi Moharir Bajaj. She's a life coach who guides people, especially women, to change their perspective in any given situation of life. Let me welcome Prachi. Hi, Prachi.
Hi, Sangeeta. How are you?
I'm good. How's your chai?
Well, I have it with me.
Perfect. I absolutely love the cup and the art behind you. Is that your creation?
Oh, yes, that's my painting. I'm an artist as well.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I love to paint. That's quite therapeutic for me. And it's my passion.
Oh, amazing. I remember actually growing up, I used to love making greeting cards. So I used to paint them. I used to draw something and I used to paint. And of course, listening to music, those were the two things that I could really release all my frustration or anger or whatever I was feeling. So it's so nice. But tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself. And you're a life coach, as we said, you're guiding other people. But how did you got to that journey? So I would love to hear from you.
Well, yeah, it's a very long journey. Nothing happened overnight.
Sure.
I of course, grew up in a very academic family, and where most of the stress was given on education, good education, of course. And so I grew up with that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, about a decade earlier, I had got a big shock of my life when I had cancer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was the time when it shook me. My whole life was devastated.
Of course.
I felt my whole life world crashed. So, however, I actually thought about it and I just thought, I have got it now. What do I do?
Yeah.
I started reading a lot of self-help books, self-healing books. I started listening to a lot of spiritual discourses as well. And one thing I really realized after reading about quite a few books and listening to the discourses, that if you want to change your life, you have to actually change your thought process. If you keep doing the same actions, you can never expect a different result that you've been getting till now. So obviously there was something that was going wrong in the actions. Now, actions doesn't actually mean physical actions. Even thoughts
are actions.
Yeah. Right? That's going on in the mind. Now, the question was how to do that.
Yeah.
How was a very big question mark for me, because I read this, theoretically everything was fine. I used to cry a lot that what am I going to do if I die? What will happen to my kids? Of course, all those worries, anxieties, everything just used to really engulf my mind all the time.
Sure.
But then I thought, this is not, something has to really change.
Yeah.
Now, the quest for it started beginning for asking, for getting that answer, basically.
Yeah.
That's how my journey started. And that's how I started changing myself. And then I realized changing yourself is the most difficult task in the world.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So how easy is it for us to really expect a lot from people? That, oh, this person doesn't change, that person doesn't change, he has this behavior. But then when I started taking just one habit of mine and wanted to change it, it took me months and months to really work very hard on it to change it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Your journey is so amazing. I mean, we'll definitely tap into more as well of that. But when you said like it's like we all do it, we all want a different result, but we don't change our mindset or our thought patterns. And it's a definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing and expect a different result.
Exactly.
And that's just so beautiful what you said, that we expect that from everybody around us. See, if our child behaves like, gets triggered or gets angry very quickly, or our partner or our parents, we see that, and we expect them to change overnight just because we have pointed it out. It's like, I
Exactly.
don't like your behavior, so you better change it. And when we hope that it should happen, because it's so easy, but you said it so beautifully, changing our own behavior, our thought patterns are the hardest thing to change. But I think the first step is to becoming aware, where listening to you, I think that's what you became aware that something in you needed to change. So
Correct.
when you became aware, and when you became really aware of that it was so hard, what did you do next?
The first question was where to start,
Yeah.
how to start.
Hmm.
There was nobody to guide. Of course, there were a lot of YouTube videos, spiritual discourses, everything is there,
Yeah.
but they all sounded very theoretical to me. And I did not know how to actually bring it into my life.
Life. Yeah.
Now, simple thing, very simple example. Like when I looked at, I was working that time, and I was standing near the window. It was a break time, and it was raining very beautifully raining. And I looked at it, and I thought, what a beautiful rain. And
Yeah.
suddenly, my colleague came, and she said, "Oh my God, what a horrible day it is! What a horrible day! Oh gosh!" So that was one trigger point that I felt, oh my God, there's one thing, that is
Situation.
the rain.
Yeah.
Rain is common for everyone. But how is it actually creating different thoughts in two different people? That is when I remembered the line from one of the discourses that I heard, that you have to see everything from a clear filter, not with a colored filter.
Yeah.
I had not understood that at all
Hmm.
before. Then I realized that the rain is the same. So it's we who take that, anything, any happening, any instance, as a stimulus to trigger our own thoughts. Now, the next step was to really look at your thoughts.
Yeah.
So one of again, the books, the self-healing books that I read, it said, watch your thoughts. Now, how to do that? I had no clue, actually, no clue, because when your mind is agitated, your thoughts go at a very supersonic speed.
Yeah.
And it's all complete chaos in your mind all the time. Now, how to do that? Then I worked on myself. It is a very, very hard work, Sangeeta, you know. It has been more than about 12 years. It's a consistent, non-stop, 24/7 hard work on your own self, to get to a point where I'm actually just satisfied with me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I have reached somewhere, but yes, I can very, very clearly see a completely different person in me from what I was. And I feel happy, very, very happy within. And that is exactly what everyone is striving for.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I found as well. My mind was so active, like you said, and I talk about in my shows that our mind, if you're not aware, creates roughly 60,000 thoughts every day. And 80% of them are negative.
Yeah.
20%, if give and take 20 or even less, are positive. And and I found another thing which was very powerful, that 70% of the times we are in the past, of past pain, we
Absolutely.
are stuck in somewhere there, and 10% we are anxious and worried about the future, what the future holds. Am I going to make it? Am I going to get well? Am I going to really get out of this? And only 10% of the time we are in the present moment. And to get to that, the beauty, the joy, the happiness, everything, peace, what we are looking is in the present moment. And that's part of, what I talk about is peace. And I wanted to, because my mind was so agitated, it was creating so much of anger, frustration. It was, of course, I was carrying past wounds and past hurts, but exactly like you, and there's a beautiful saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Absolutely.
So when you hit rock bottom, then
Yeah.
you opened up yourself to the spiritual path. You were finding YouTube videos about spirituality, how to heal your body, because at some point we all hit that rock bottom. Either it's a relationship breakdown, or it's a physical ailment, or it is a financial breakdown. Something comes in our life, and I know, I feel it is sad that we have to go and hit rock bottom to go up. But this seems like that the spirituality in us, that that we have forgotten that we are spiritual being having physical experience. We think we are physical being. Oh, we can get into the spirituality when we cross 70. But it's the other way around, and it's the only thing that pain and suffering triggers that. And I want to talk to you about that, because so often I see even people who are suffering, for example, with pain or with anything breakdown, they're still not getting it. They're still in that space of stuckness, that where they blame others for their suffering. So what can they do in that instance?
See, it's very easy to blame others. Very, very easy. Because what happens is we give our responsibility to the other person then. Of whatever we are suffering, we immediately say, the moment we say, oh, because of him I did this, or because of her it happened to me. It's just that we do not take responsibility of our own actions. That's the issue. So that is another very big lesson that I learned, that never blame others for your situation ever, because your situation is always the resultant of your own choices in life. Always. Again, it was very theoretical for me, did not understand anything. Oh, come on. He said so many things to me. He did so many bad things to me. How am I to be blamed for that? Or how am I responsible for that? So then slowly, very slowly, after a lot of introspection and a lot of meditation and thinking, I actually realized that we always have a minimum of two choices in life. In every given situation, every given, to do or not to do. Of course, we have more as well, but these are the two minimum that we always have. Even if somebody is keeping us on a gunpoint, we still have two choices, and the final decision is always ours. To listen to the person who is putting the gun on your head and do whatever he says, or to die. We are not discussing the repercussions, right? Every action has a repercussion to it. However, what I'm trying to say is we have the choice. So if somebody says anything to us, or somebody does any wrong thing to us, we have also somewhere let them do. We have allowed that.
That's the hard thing to take, isn't it? The really difficult pill to swallow, that actually, whatever they did or they said, I chose to get triggered. I chose to think like that. I chose my feeling. Feeling is my own creation. It's not what they're doing.
No, it's not. It was that rainy day that actually triggered this practical aspect of that saying, which I could not understand for many months, or probably a year or so. I was reading it, but I couldn't understand why it's saying that.
How to
do it. That was another very big lesson, and I completely stopped the blame game. Stop means absolutely put a full stop. It's not that it never happened overnight. The thoughts used to come. Oh, my situation. When I was agitated, those thoughts came. Oh, because of this person, this has happened. But the difference that it made, this introspection made, was that I became aware of that negative thought. And I could probably create a red alert button in my mind, that the moment that negative thought came, my mind became aware that, oh, hang on, stop, take a pause. deal with this thought. And then when I thought about it, okay, fine. How is that person responsible? He behaved or she behaved exactly according to how their upbringing is.
Yeah.
I allowed it. So I could have walked out. I could have left that place. I could have retaliated. I could have done whatever that I could to protect myself. But I did not do, for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
I didn't have courage. We are not going into those details. I have my own reasons.
Yeah.
But final thing was I allowed it. So I am responsible for my situation. And slowly, in years and years and years of introspecting and delving on that thought, I actually feel that I think I'm quite free of that blame game. I do not blame anybody for my situation ever. So, and I feel free.
Yeah. And I think
Lot of freedom.
and that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Because sometimes we start, because my journey started because I didn't want to feel that pain. I didn't want somebody else to have the power to trigger me. And the result was that I felt free. I thought, wow, I can go anywhere. I can meet with somebody, because I was like one of my spiritual teachers, she said, I'm like triggered. No, I'm like a dormant bomb. So somebody comes and poke me and I scream. So she said, like, your energy body is so much triggers that it's like so activated that anybody can come and trigger it. Could be as little as somebody spoke to me rudely, as much as somebody really did something to hurt me, or really put me down, or whatever, talk back, behind my back or whatever. But I was so triggered. So she said, work on that. Because and that day I just thought, oh my God, yes, those pain, the hurt is caused by other people in the past that I'm carrying. But what I need to do is I need to let go and release, and we'll go a little deeply into it, how we can do that. But tell me about it. How did you recover? What's going on with cancer? Like you said, when you hit rock bottom and you went on to that journey, did you recover from it? Or, when you were reading about healing, self-healing books or something, what is the situation and how it helped you? Because you're such a beautiful, positive person. I want people to be inspired by you and your story. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. It was not just cancer. Of course, yes, fortunately, I've recovered from that. Completely recovered, thankfully. Now, the first question that I asked me after reading the books was, now, this is the situation that I cannot change. Now what? What ahead? Right? Now, I believe very strongly, if you can change the situation, by all means, do everything that you can, right? But if you cannot change the situation, then enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now, enjoy, of course, pain is not enjoyment. Yeah. But what I mean to say is that accept it. First thing is acceptance. Yes, it is in front of me. Now what? Yeah. So what I thought was, the doctors are doing their level best. I cannot change what has come inside me as an external body in terms of cancer. Now, what can I do from my own side, my own way? I can only change my thought process, because I had read a very good book by, I think she was The Journey. It's called as The Journey by Brandon Bayes.
All right.
And I had also read a very nice book, Dying to Be Me.
Yeah.
So where they have recovered from cancer and tumor.
Anita Moorjani, isn't it?
Anita Moorjani, yes. And by Brandon Bayes as well, where she heals her own tumor. Yeah. So if I was really inspired by those two books especially. And I thought, if they can do it, why can't I do it? Of course I can. I can at least try my level best.
Yeah.
Rest is in, I by that time I had started believing, do your best and leave the rest. That's it. So then I started working on my thought process. Every thought that I used to, as I mentioned before, I had created that a red alert button.
Yeah.
There were a lot of agitation, no doubt about it, because I was definitely restless. Uh-huh. And it was not just cancer, it was not just the physical pain and ailment. I was suffering from different aspects because I had obviously given up my job. I could not cope up with it. It was a very, very lucrative job in fashion industry.
Okay.
That I was working on a good position, a good, very good package, traveling, a lot of international traveling. So those kind of things were there, and everything came to a standstill. Of course, it was hit in terms of pocket as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now these situations are there. So the only thing I thought was, which is in my control, is to change myself. There's nothing else that I can do. And I started working on that.
Wow.
And then I believed that, as I said, like everyone is, I also feel that everyone has a very logical reason for their madness. And that I really believe, including me. Whatever I behave, I have a very logical reason. So is everybody for that behavior, that particular moment. Maybe later anybody can realize, oh my God, I think I made a mistake. That's different. But at the point of time when they are actually doing that action, they are absolutely right from their perspective.
That's the perspective, because I always see, and that was something really I struggled with, is seeing other person's perspective. And I realized reading something and listening to something beautiful, and they said it's like, you and your person who's agitated you or triggered you, it could be anybody. It's like you're two different sides of a coin. So I am seeing heads and you're seeing tails. Now, who is right or who is wrong? We both are right. And it says it's about the person who is bigger, who is prepared to have the flexibility to go on the other side and see that they are actually right. That creates a lot of easiness, that creates freedom, that can only happen when you have compassion and say, actually, I know I'm right, 100%. And I know that you're right. So how about we listen to each other, we talk about it, we communicate. But, and again, this arises another point, that we are not so great with communication, because, when we get triggered, it's like, I am switched off. I am so mad with you. I don't want to hear your point of view, even if you're ready to hear that. And I remember working on myself so much. And I used to think, why am I like that? I'm a grown up. Why do I behave like that? And I went into the past of my childhood behavior, that when I used to do that, I was not told that was the wrong thing. So I learned that it's okay. It's okay to behave like that. And because of that, it's like I had that certain image about me, that no, but I am always right kind of thing. And that really troubled me. And I know that, last, like you were saying, 12 years, it's same, like I went into depression in 2009, and that's where my spiritual journey started. Like, when you think, okay, you cannot move ahead without doing something about it. Until that point, I was always blaming other people for anything went wrong in my life. And the beauty of it, and I laugh about it now, that, how clever we are, that anything goes right in our life, that is my doing.
That is why.
Everything. I have worked hard. I am so clever. I put a lot of effort. Anything goes wrong, it's somebody else too. We can fire somebody else very quickly. Like you were saying, it's so easy to blame other people. But it's about going within. It's about introspection. And that's the hardest thing. Like you said, we have to just stay on that path every single day. Yeah. There comes a point where we think, okay, now I understand myself little bit.
Yes,
that's the journey. It's little bit every single day, little bit every single time the situation comes. And I look at my patterns when I go back. It's like somebody used to trigger me. I used to be upset for 3 months. I am like so mad with that person. Then it started to become, okay, little less, I recover in a month. then it came, I recover in 3 days, 3 hours. And now I said, okay, I just laugh at myself being silly and I let it pass. But again, it's about the dedication. It's about the constant work, studying, working on ourselves. So what do you do now? And tell me what you used to do when you used to get triggered. Okay, blaming somebody else is fine. What was the action? How you used to react, and what's the difference now after so many years of you working on yourself? Give me an example of it.
Okay. Now, yes, I was quite short tempered and extremely sensitive. So I used to get hurt very easily, very, very easily. Somebody said something, got hurt. Somebody said, anything that was against my wishes, I got agitated. So those kind of things were happening. But however, after, once a girl gets married, especially an Indian girl, you have to keep quiet. That's it. So that's what it was taught. So even if I was boiling, at times I was boiling from within, I used to just keep quiet. So everything stayed within. Nothing came out. So the feelings were rotting inside somewhere for years and years. And it's a medically proven fact that a lot of these diseases originate from your mind. And I read that somewhere in a book. So what I thought was, again, these are the few things that I actually got into my head permanently, is everyone is right from their own perspective. Everyone has a logical reason for their behavior and madness. Madness, I call it just for behavior.
Yeah, why not?
Right? Don't take it wrong. I'm not calling anyone mad. Yeah. So everybody has a logical reason for their behavior. And I cannot blame anyone. I am responsible for my own situation. So these are the 3 mantras that I constantly repeated for the last 12 years. Fourth thing was gratitude, which I really learned. And every time I used to I actually thank God for giving me cancer. Otherwise, I would have not gone on the spiritual journey. Yeah. I thank those people who have really, really given me a very hard time emotionally. Honestly speaking, I thank them from the core of my heart. I bless them, and that's how I started taking responsibility of my own actions. Yeah. That actually changed my life. Yes, when I used to get agitated, I used to react badly. I used to start fighting, be it my husband, be it my kids, my parents, anybody, Yeah. But this next thing was like, okay, I am not going to talk at this moment. Yeah. I may walk out, and I made it very clear that if I'm agitated, I'll walk out. Don't consider this as rude, right? I made it very clear to obviously my family, my husband, and so if I walk out, that doesn't mean I'm being rude. It just means I want to control that moment of agitation. That's it. And once you control that, after that, you are actually, I noticed that you're able to talk in a much more calmer way. And you can actually solve the issues that we have. When you're agitated, we cannot solve the issues. It just adds, because you never know. When you say 4 things to people, you never know what the other person is going through in his own ways, in his own frustrations. So the other person may say 10 other things to you.
That'll add.
Exactly. So that is one practice that I started, that just to keep quiet only for that few minutes at least, till I cool down. That helped big time.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I think what you were saying about our mind and think, for me, the processes I do with people is all about emotions. So like, of course, emotions are created by the thoughts that we think. And I say to people, when you're agitated, when you're triggered, do not take action. Like you said, it's like a proper red light. Do not cross that, because you are going to have an accident. Okay, so
absolutely.
That's the thumb rule. That, and when you calm yourself down, you're more likely to see other person's perspective. Then you should, and for me, I always think you should definitely have a conversation, because if you don't, then you're going to bump into each other and have the accident more often. Why? Because you haven't conveyed that message to the other person, that behavior or that kind of tone or whatever they have done to create that trigger really triggers you and you don't want to be there. So, and again, as much as it's our work, I always think it's good to communicate clearly.
Yes.
Otherwise, like I used to tell my kids, and give you an example that, when my kids were growing up, and like in our Indian culture, we tell like kids shouldn't speak in front of kids. Parents are always right, kids have to follow. And I never liked that rule when I was growing up. And I was like, no, actually, if you're wrong, you're wrong. It doesn't matter if you're my mother or father or
Yeah.
prime minister of the country. I used to have that belief, and I truly believe that, because as grown-ups, we can be wrong at many times, and I have
Oh,
learned
yes.
so much from my kids.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I gave this freedom to my kids, and I said, okay, if I am speaking to you in a certain way that triggers you, that you think is rude, that you think is unacceptable, mom was not fair, you must tell me. Why? If you're not going to tell me, I am going to feel and think that is the right way. Okay, right
Exactly.
approach. If you will tell me, then you are making me aware of my behavior, and it could be many reasons. I could be tired, I could be worried about something. That's an excuse. That's whatever is going on, that's fine. But if you don't like something, tell me. So I remember my younger one was like me, very open. He tells me whatever. My older one was like, he used to take it everything in and never used to bring out. So I said to him, I said, you must do that with us in a safe place. Otherwise, you'll go out in the world and people will be unreasonable to you and you won't be able to show that. So I
Correct.
said to him, so I said to him a few times. So I remember one time coming back from radio show, I was overtired, and because I didn't have enough sleep and I was there early, and I came back and I just said to him, I said, have you bothered doing homework, kind of in that tone? And of course, my younger one said, of course, what do you think of me? And he, rushed out of the room. And my older one, I saw his face like, I'm so angry with mom. Why my mom spoke to me like that? Doesn't she know we always do homework, kind of thing? And I saw that and I thought, okay, I'm going to give him a chance to come and talk to me. So he took it in. He came in this is his creation room. So he came and he did all his drums. So he let out all his emotions, all his anger, frustration. And I just sat in my room. I was just doing something. And he opened the door and he said to me, he said, Mom, I didn't like the way you spoke to me. It was so rude. What was the need of you to speak to me? Didn't you know I always do homework? And I saw his face so easing off. All his anger, all his frustration just melt away. And I didn't say anything at that point. I thought, well done. Well done for sticking up for yourself, because, no matter who I am, no matter how much I love you, I can step out and I can be unreasonable. So I left it and I thought, oh, well done. I've been telling him for a few months now, you must express, you must express. So I went in his room later on after half an hour or so. And I said, didn't it feel good for you to say what you needed to say? He said, yes, mommy. I said, that's what I've been trying to teach you. It's okay to say, because you are being authentic. Like what you said, when we teach our kids or our children or say, suppress those emotions, they become disease.
Oh, yes.
They
Absolutely.
harm us so much more than us expressing. But
Yes.
as long as we can guide people how to
Yeah.
express it in a healthier way. And it's okay sometimes if you have a tantrum, if you walk out of your parents and you go in your room and cry, it's okay, as long as you don't stuff it in your side and
Absolutely.
say it's not, I don't have a right to express. That's what harms. So I made sure that my kids learn that. And you know what, sometimes it fires back. Almost like,
Oh, yes.
why did I give them freedom? But I know that it's the right way. I
Yeah.
want them to be healthier. I want them to have a healthy, enjoyable life. But I said, sometimes when they are rude, I point out, I said, well, you could have said that bit better. You could have said that bit more lovingly or easily, but it's okay. Just mind it for next time,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I just have like a little trigger. I know it triggers me. Like you said, there's a red light comes in. I said, go for a walk, go for a
Yes.
walk. Do not talk right now, But it's so beautiful, isn't it? So tell me how we can, of course, I want, our show to be reaching out to people who are struggling, maybe from a disease, or maybe they are going through what we have gone through 10, 12 years ago. What is one thing they can start doing right now, that to shift that perspective? I know you're life coach, you're sharing that. There's one thing that people can do today if they know they're suffering, and yes, they were pointing out fingers to other people before they heard this show. What one thing they can do to just start working on themselves?
It's very important to first is the acceptance.
Okay.
That yes, disease is not pleasant at all. Pain is not pleasant at all. I have gone through the most excruciating levels of pain, and I know how bad it is.
Yeah.
It is not nice for the person who is suffering. It's not nice for the other person, for your loved ones, to see you suffering.
Oh, that's really painful.
Yes. I always believe that I will get in this situation, which I cannot change, I am going to get the same thing whether I laugh or cry. Howsoever much I cry, I'm still going to get this pain. If I laugh, I still get this pain. So why not laugh?
Yeah.
Laugh means try and make your life a little more easier by accepting it. Work on yourself. Of course, by all means, do everything that the doctor is telling you to do. No doubt about it. All the treatments, whatever you're going through, but acceptance will make it easier for yourself. And when your loved ones see you in a better mood, right, and not crying, they feel better. Because trust me, our loved ones are much more miserable looking at you suffering. And that's what I realized. I didn't want to laugh. I didn't want to cry at all. Somebody just came to called me in the hospital. I was there in the hospital with this new issue that I have, another life-threatening challenge, where I was told that I'm going to live only for 2 months. So, but I'm still here for the last 5 years. Excruciating pain. And the person said, oh my God, what has happened? It is so bad that this has happened to you. It is why God gives, all wrong things to good people. I don't understand. I said, listen, nothing bad has happened. It's fine, right? After marriage, I have never ever got a time where all I have to do is to lie down, eat and sleep. Everything is coming on my table. All I have to do, I've got an ensuite room. All I have to do is eat and sleep. That's it. I don't have to take care of the kids. I don't have to take care of the house. No cleaning, nothing. So I am not going to get this time ever again.
What a beautiful way of looking at it. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. It's just a different perspective of the same situation. I could have cried. I could have taken everyone's sympathy. Because people were giving sympathy. But I believe, Sangeeta, that sympathy makes you weaker.
Oh, yes.
Very weak. Right? So when I said this to the other person, she was like absolutely shocked. And she says, you know what? I really feel that I cry for no reason.
Yeah.
If you going through a life-threatening health challenge, if you can say this kind of thing, what am I crying? I have got nothing, no problem at all. Yeah. And she still thanks me so many times that, you know what, every time she'll call me to say, you know what, that statement changed myself as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's so important, and I honor you, I honor you, the positivity in you. And that's how I remember, when I was young, I had polio. So I was growing up and it was so hard, I had a caliper and people used to look at you feeling sorry for you. And I started believing in that poor me, how people look at you, poor you. And especially when you're a child, you don't know any different. So you think, well, actually, if they're feeling sorry for me, I think I should feel sorry for me as well. So I became that person who used to feel sorry for myself all the time. Yet my soul was so expansive that I used to go and be joyful and laugh. And at night, I used to cry sometimes. And sometimes when you interact with these kind of people, but I remember somebody approaching me and their daughter had polio as well. And they said to me, said, could you go and talk to her, because she always stays stuck. She's always in the house. She doesn't want to go out because what people will say and people will laugh. And when I see you, you're always so joyful and things. And I was thinking, yeah, I'm not always joyful, but I just think this is my life. I better make it good one.
Yeah.
And whatever comes to me, I think, okay, that's the challenge God has given to me, because God knew I could handle it. That's the way I look at life. But yes, that doesn't mean you're always positive. That doesn't mean you never get down. That doesn't mean nothing breaks you. Of course, you go through, like I say, life is about ebb and flow. You go down and you get up. You go down and you get up. You become stronger and stronger. So thank you so much, Prachi, for such an amazing, uplifting and inspiring story. And of course, during next shows, we will take questions. We will talk about it. We'll really go a little deeper how people can really transform their life by just changing their perspective. But now it is the fun part. Are you ready to have some fun?
Yeah.
You are. Okay. Well, get ready for this rapid fire round. Before I go in there, I want to ask, how do you make your chai? Because there's so many different ways. Tell me.
Yeah. I just, to be honest, I like the typical Indian ginger tea.
Okay.
But that too just in winter. So I actually prefer a very light one, just a kettle tea, quick one. Yeah. And I like it that way.
Yeah. So, I think I'm like you as well. So I have normal English kind of tea, tea bag and all that. But even my kids now know it, because, in winters, I say to them, have ginger tea with a little bit of like peppercorns and ginger to, if there's coughs and colds, that heals, or haldi milk, I take. Yes. So since they were very young, they learn these skills. And now, when they are in uni and they have cough and colds, Mom, do you think I should have haldi milk? I said, yeah, beta, have it for 3 days. And it cures, it cures their coughs and colds and things like that. So yeah, so thank you so much for, yesterday I recorded a show and I was talking to an expert. She's in Sikkim. And I said, oh, what kind of chai do you drink? And she said, it's such a shame, because she said, I don't drink chai, I drink milk. I said, oh my God, that's so bad. I said, you're in Sikkim and it's like best tea you can get, but hey ho, that's her life, that's her choice, and she prefers it that way. So, okay, now first one question. If you can have any superpower, what would it be and what would you do about it or with it?
Superpower. I would really love to really finish the suffering that is going on in the world. Oh. I would really love to.
Just magic wand, clear it.
All the suffering finishes. Yeah.
How beautiful. Thank you. Okay. What is the craziest thing you have done in life? It could be any time, when you were 16, when you were 30, whenever.
No, I really love jumping in the rain puddles. And I still do. My daughter feels that, Mom, what are you doing? I said, no, I love it. You also do it. Come on.
You know what? Next time it rains, after all this clear, I'm going to come, because I absolutely love that. I used to stand in rain just to, I used to, from college, take a rickshaw for home. And especially if it's raining, I used to say, Bhaiya, take the cover off. And he used to think, what crazy woman she is. Everybody wants to get covered. But something about rain maybe connects you and me. We love it, both of us.
Yes, I love rain. Absolutely love rain.
Good. Okay. What is the first thing I will find in your wardrobe?
Well, depends on the season, but yeah, if it's summer, shorts for sure.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Prachi, for being here and for being such a great guest and expert. And as I said, we will have a lot of questions and comments, and we'll share that on YouTube. And I know a lot of people will get inspired by your stories, and we will share lots more. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. Take care. We'll speak to you next time. Bye-bye.
Sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.